Welcome to Stone of Secrets. And here is another exciting short overview. Ludwig van Beethoven, a towering figure in the history of Western music, was born in Bonn, Germany, on December 17, 1770, into a musical family. His father, Johann van Beethoven, was a singer and instrumentalist, though a man of erratic temperament and habits exacerbated by alcoholism. Recognizing his son's talent early, Johann attempted to promote Ludwig as a child prodigy, drawing inspiration from the widely celebrated story of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Beethoven's early musical education was rigorous and often harsh, but his potential was undeniable. By his teens, he was already a competent organist, pianist, and violist. He was first published at the age of 12, and his early compositions showcase a remarkable proficiency. Seeking broader horizons and the tutelage of the era's great composers, Beethoven moved to Vienna in 1792. Vienna was the epicenter of European classical music, and it was there he studied under Joseph Haydn, among others, though the relationship between Haydn and Beethoven was sometimes strained due to Beethoven's stubborn independence and innovative ideas. In Vienna, Beethoven quickly established himself as a virtuoso pianist and an original composer. His early works were marked by their classical form, but already hinted at a unique, powerful voice. The Pathétique Sonata, de 1798, and the First Symphony, 1800, won him early fame and set the stage for his profound impact on the future of music. However, around 1801, Beethoven began to lose his hearing, a personal tragedy that he initially kept secret. His increasing deafness led to social withdrawal and deep personal anguish, reflected in the famous Heiligenstadt Testament, a letter written in 1802 to his brothers which reveals his despair and resolve. Despite his suffering, Beethoven's compositional output continued to increase in both volume and complexity. The middle period of his life, 1803–1814, saw Beethoven composing with unrelenting innovation and mastery, producing works that would redefine genres. Iconic pieces from this period include the Eroica Symphony, Symphony No. 3, which dramatically expanded the scale and scope of symphonic writing; the Fifth Symphony, with its motif of fate knocking at the door; and the Pastoral Symphony, Symphony No. 6, a richly evocative piece that paints auditory pictures of the countryside. As his hearing deteriorated further, Beethoven's music became more introspective and innovative. His late period, 1815–1827, includes some of his most profound works: the Diabelli Variations, the Missa Solemnis, and the towering Ninth Symphony, which incorporates choral settings of Friedrich Schiller's Ode to Joy, pushing the boundaries of the symphonic form. Despite his health challenges, including a severe liver disease, Beethoven continued to compose until his final years. One of his last major works, the String Quartet No. 14 in C course minor, Op. 131, is often considered one of the greatest string quartets of all time. Beethoven passed away on March 26, 1827 in Vienna after a prolonged illness. Thousands attended his funeral, reflecting his monumental status in the world of music and beyond. His legacy is immense, not only in the breadth and quality of his music, but also in his embodiment of the romantic ideal of the artist as a heroic figure, struggling against fate. Beethoven's life and work transformed the landscape of classical music, cementing his place as one of the greatest composers who ever lived. Ludwig van Beethoven composed 9 symphonies, each of which has left an indelible mark on the classical music repertoire. Among these, certain symphonies are frequently highlighted for their groundbreaking innovation, profound depth, and lasting influence. Here are some of Beethoven's most celebrated symphonies. Symphony No. 3 in E-flat major, Op. 55, Eroica, Often considered a turning point not only in Beethoven's career but also in the history of the symphony, the Eroica Symphony was originally dedicated to Napoleon Bonaparte as a symbol of heroism and freedom. However, Beethoven famously scratched out the dedication when Napoleon declared himself emperor, seeing it as a betrayal of the democratic and anti-monarchical ideals that Napoleon initially seemed to represent. This symphony is monumental in scope, significantly longer than most symphonies of its time, and marked by its emotional depth and structural innovation. Symphony No. 5 in C minor, Op. U-67. Perhaps the most famous symphony in classical music, characterized by its iconic short, long motif, which Beethoven supposedly described as fate knocking at the door. This motif is ingeniously woven through all four movements, creating a cohesive, cyclical structure that was revolutionary at the time. The transition from the third movement to the fourth is particularly celebrated, moving from a somber funeral march to a triumphant and jubilant finale. Symphony No. 6 in F major, Op. 168, Pastoral. This symphony depicts Beethoven's love of nature. Unlike his other symphonies, the Pastoral is explicitly programmatic, painting musical scenes that evoke the tranquility and storms of the countryside. It is a work rich with melody and includes sounds mimicking bird calls and thunderstorms, which adds to its evocative power. Symphony No. 7 in A major, Op. 92. Known for its rhythmic vigor and energy, the Seventh Symphony is particularly famous for its allegretto second movement, which is often performed separately. Wagner called this symphony the apotheosis of the dance because of its lively rhythms and vibrant energy. The work as a whole is celebrated for its use of rhythmic motifs and dynamic movements. Symphony No. 9 in D minor, Op. 125, Choral. Beethoven's Final Symphony is a towering work that broke new ground by including vocal soloists and a chorus in the final movement, setting the text of Schiller's poem Ode to Joy. It is a profound statement on universal brotherhood and love, transcending the traditional boundaries of symphonic music. This symphony continues to be revered not only for its artistic innovation, but also for its powerful message and monumental scale. Each of these symphonies showcases different aspects of Beethoven's genius, from the bold and complex Eroica to the universal message of unity in the choral. His symphonies remain central pillars of the orchestral repertoire and are celebrated for their emotional depth, structural innovation, and melodic beauty. Ludwig van Beethoven was not only a musical genius, but also a figure renowned for his eccentric and often tumultuous personal habits. His idiosyncratic behaviors, though sometimes viewed as quirks, were also reflections of his intense and passionate nature. Here are a few notable eccentricities that marked Beethoven's character and lifestyle. Erratic personal habits. Beethoven was notoriously sloppy in his personal appearance and living conditions. He often neglected his outward appearance and was known for wearing clothes that were either dirty or not well kept. His apartments would frequently become chaotic and cluttered, filled with stacks of manuscripts, papers, and not much attention to cleanliness. Intense work routines. Beethoven had an intense and obsessive work ethic when it came to his compositions. He could work on several compositions simultaneously, often to the detriment of his social life and personal well-being. He was known to wake up early and work at his desk, sometimes composing while standing, and would use a wooden stick to feel the vibrations of the piano when his hearing deteriorated. Confrontational and abrasive personality. Beethoven's personality was complex. He could be deeply kind and morally insightful, but also abrasive, irritable, and confrontational. He had frequent fallouts with friends and patrons, often due to misunderstandings or his uncompromising nature regarding his artistic choices. Diet and health obsessions. Beethoven had peculiar habits concerning his health. He followed various diets, sometimes influenced by the latest fads, or his own theories about health and well-being. He also counted out exactly 60 coffee beans each morning for his coffee, a detail that highlights his meticulous and obsessive nature. Conducting style. Even as his hearing deteriorated, Beethoven insisted on conducting his own premieres. His conducting was often erratic and unorthodox. During the premiere of his Ninth Symphony, he continued to conduct even after the music had finished, unaware that the orchestra had stopped playing and the audience was applauding. Communication notebooks. As his hearing worsened, Beethoven began to carry notebooks in which people could write their part of the conversation, allowing him to respond orally. These conversation books provide a unique insight into his daily life and interactions, showcasing his struggle with hearing loss and his attempts to maintain communication with those around him. These eccentricities paint a picture of Beethoven not just as a composer of unparalleled talent, but also as a deeply human figure with all the complexities that entail. His personality traits, as challenging as they could be, were also intrinsically tied to the passionate and relentless pursuit of his art. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Stone of Secrets. Thanks for watching.